You asked about this, so here's what I've learned about getting ripped and what I am currently using in my workout and workout regime. As always, I am not making money off this, and on top of just sharing about what worked for me in terms of muscle building, I'll also be giving you my own workout routine that you can copy for free. You guys are going to save so much time and effort because of this. I remember when I was first trying to lose fat and build muscle, I had to make so many mistakes and learn so many lessons before I figured out what worked and what didn't. At first, I thought it just needed me to go for runs and do some pull-ups and push-ups and I would be fit. Then I realized that was a futile attempt and I needed to go to the gym to have a more effective resistance training. But just turning up to the gym, no matter how committed you are, isn't enough. I'm sure you've seen fitness enthusiasts at the gym who work out for years, religiously showing up for every workout and not looking any different from when they first started out. It takes more than just going to the gym and randomly doing exercises. Even if you aim to work up a sweat, it probably nearly isn't as optimized or effective. There's actually a proper science and framework behind getting ripped, so all the bro science can be thrown out the window. I'll be diving into that science and covering the 6 key pillars that I've learned about in order to build muscle fast. With this knowledge, you'll be able to develop an effective training regimen in order to build a lean and mean physique. Let's go! First of all, we have to understand that muscle growth basically is hypertrophy. The National Academy of Sports Medicine defines hypertrophy as the enlargement of skeletal muscle fibers in response to being recruited to develop increased levels of tension. A lot of words, but basically what we want. We want our muscle size to increase. So how do we reliably stimulate hypertrophy to get those gains that we want? It turns out that we need to understand a fundamental pillar of our bodies: work and rest. According to a 2019 study published in the Institute of Sport Sciences, muscle hypertrophy occurs when muscle protein synthesis exceeds muscle protein breakdown and results in a positive net protein balance in cumulative periods. Or, in easier words, as you exercise, your muscle tissue will tear. As they heal properly, they become larger. The key is a combination of ensuring that you did the right kind and amount of work, had adequate good rest, and took in the right amount of protein. When this is done, your muscles will repair the exercise-related trauma and will adapt to become bigger or stronger. So how do we achieve hypertrophy? We need to balance various factors. Here are the most important few areas that you have to work on. When I was starting out as a gym newbie, I thought that all I had to do was to complete my reps and sets. After all, 10 reps is 10 reps, right? Turns out the whole point is not banging out the reps. When we perform resistance exercises like lifting weights, we aren't just wanting to move the weight from point A to point B. Rather, what the whole point is to fatigue the right muscles properly. That means being aware of body mechanics, understanding if the right muscles are being recruited and not much of any other muscle, and that we aren't causing ourselves any excessive harm. I'll show you examples of what I mean right after I cover the next factor of hypertrophy. The next thing that's crucial is understanding that increasing the time under tension will maximize hypertrophy. This was a particular revelation for myself because I always wanted to just do whatever it takes to do as many reps as I can, which usually results in me rushing through my reps and relying a lot on momentum and bad form. Turns out that multiple studies have shown that slower reps are important in optimizing muscle growth. The way we make our reps slower is by understanding what goes on in every rep. In each rep, there are typically 2 main phases of movement. One phase when you're squeezing your muscles, or the concentric phase, and one phase where you're elongating and stretching out your muscles, or the eccentric phase. By slowing down both eccentric and concentric phases, you're actually going to be seriously increasing the total time you're actually stressing your muscles. And that's a great thing. This is scientifically backed, by the way. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Physiology found that slower reps, 6 seconds during the concentric phase and 6 seconds during the eccentric phase, produce greater increases in rates of muscle protein synthesis and may be important in optimizing muscle growth. In fact, I started out not caring much about the eccentric phase, but it's actually the phase that benefits muscle growth the most. Other studies also show this, proving that muscle growth favors eccentric actions as compared to concentric actions. In this clip, I'm performing a triceps push-down exercise, but here I'm having horrible form. My entire arm is moving, which means I'm using muscles like my shoulders and lats, and I'm not focusing on the muscles that I want to work, which should be my triceps. In this next clip, what I'm doing is the exercise, but I'm rushing through it. In the concentric phase, I'm not even giving my muscles a chance to contract fully and feel the squeeze. In the eccentric phase, I'm almost skipping past all the gains because I'm just letting momentum and gravity do all the work. I'm clearly not putting up any resistance at all, so when you think about it, how can the muscles be expected to grow? Finally, in this clip, I'm demonstrating the same exercise but with a more sensible tempo, and I'm focusing on two main things: form and time under tension. I'm making sure that only the right muscles are working and that I'm looking at maximizing both the concentric and eccentric phase of the movement. I don't focus on cardio because of specificity. What specificity means is that we need to be specific as to why we are doing something. Most forms of exercise can be good, but with any form of goals, we want to make sure that we are effective and efficient about things. For example, in this case, my fitness goal is to build more muscle. So doing intense cardio or too much cardio doesn't align with my fitness goals because I don't want to fatigue myself unnecessarily nor add too much time to my workouts. This wasn't something that I was aware about when I was a teenager and just starting my fitness journey. I thought that I had to run, and like Forrest Gump, I just continued on doing more and more runs. It was an obsession that was fueled by the misguided idea that I had to run more, run longer, and sweat more in order to make it an effective workout. Turns out that I did lose a lot of fat, but because of the intensity and volume of running that I was doing, it quickly became very catabolic. Catabolic activities aren't great for the body because on top of fat, muscles also start breaking down in order to support and fuel your activities. Worst of all, it took a lot of time, and in the end, just took me further from my fitness goals. The only thing that I do for cardio now is regular walks where the focus is on step count. I use an Apple Watch to keep track of this. Low intensity, steady state cardio like walking is so easy to incorporate into your daily life, and I enjoy it so much more than running long distance. Not to mention that walking, although low intensity, is still able to burn calories, lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol levels, and improve blood circulation. Training volume is a fine balance. We need volume in order to grow, but we can't do too much as well. More is not more in this case. We talked about hypertrophy at the start of the video, and we've established that the body grows through a cycle of exercise and recovery. To be exact, we are subjecting our muscles to trauma, and we need to allow for repair to happen in order for the muscles to become stronger and bigger. If volume is too much, we cause too much damage and trauma to the muscles, and the muscles won't be able to recover properly. Our gains will then be diminished, so instead of just doing more, think about pacing ourselves so that we can stay within the band of optimal work and we can grow and recover from that. So then, what's the magic number of reps and sets? Muscles do not naturally want to grow. They must be forced to grow through consistent periods of stress. A 2017 systematic review by the Journal of Sports Sciences found that 10 plus sets per muscle group per week will produce greater gains in muscular hypertrophy than doing fewer than 10 sets. From the evidence-based research and from my own experience, the optimal range is not the absolute most number of sets. Instead, it's something around the 10 sets per week, but we've also taken into account fatigue, effort, and sustainability. Muscle group matters as well because we want to fatigue the major muscles like quads and chest more than the secondary muscles like biceps and triceps. I know this can get confusing, so go get a copy of my workout routine. You need to be able to dedicate at least 3 days of going to the gym. If you can do that, you'll find this workout program very helpful. I've made it completely free for anyone watching this video. I've linked it below in the description. Next up is the key pillar that you have to understand in order to make your training volume effective. Although training for hypertrophy and training for strength is different, they still go hand in hand. Training for hypertrophy will also increase your strength. So you need to lift progressively heavier weights to stay within the optimal 8 to 12 rep range. Increasing the load can be done either by number of reps or weight. For example, if this week you're doing 8 reps, then next week you might want to try to push for 9 reps. Alternatively, if your working weight is 20 kilograms this week, you might want to try for 21 kilograms next week. Ensuring progressive overload stops your body from being accustomed to the same stimulus week after week and prevents you from hitting plateaus. The final factor to keep in mind is your rest interval in between sets. There was a time when I was so distracted by my phone that my workouts would be 1.5 hours to 2 hours instead of just 40 to 50 minutes, simply because I was spending so much time on my phone and resting. While rest time is important, too much rest is suboptimal because it lets your muscles cool down and negatively impacts your performance. Again, it's all about balance. So resting too little also doesn't properly prepare you for the next set. A good benchmark for hypertrophy training is to rest approximately 60 seconds between sets. If you're not used to this, don't worry about hitting this right out of the gate. You might take a few weeks to get there. Start with rest intervals of 2 minutes, then cut it down to 90 seconds, then finally 60 seconds. To help me keep track of everything and also help me stay focused on my rest times, I use an app called Heavy. The founder is a great guy and the free version of the app is powerful enough for most people. What I like about it is that I can keep track of all my exercises, sets, reps, and it also has an automatic rest interval timer. After switching to using this app, I am a lot more focused when I'm working out and I love it. Go check it out. This is not a sponsored post. You can go download it on iPhone, Android. Just search for Heavy, H-E-V-Y. So how long does it take to actually build muscle? Unfortunately, it's almost impossible to figure out exactly how much time it will take for you to build muscle. There are so many variables involved, such as your age, fitness level, diet, sleep quantity and quality, workout form, and so on. Some people can pack on muscle in just a week, so it's not impossible, but some people might take longer. The most important thing to do is to stay consistent and committed. I will start with just the first 4 to 6 weeks, just showing up and completing the workouts and getting used to your new diet and sleep routines. It's also good to remember to follow the strategies that I laid out in my previous video. I'll link it somewhere here, because we don't want to just blindly go through the motions. We want to be highly intentional on our efforts so that we can get the results that we want in the most effective manner. So try it out. I'm pretty sure you'll soon see the results you're looking for. I hope this video has been helpful and has answered your question. Don't forget to go get a copy of my workout routine. I've made it completely free for anyone watching this video. It's below in the description. As always, hit me up in the comments, especially if you have a question that I can help answer. Don't forget to also subscribe and share and all that, because of the algo. I need to know if what I am doing is on the right track for you. So that is literally the only thing that I need from you. Until the next video, bye!